still?
I can.
Because I want to hear.
And they
I
have
want to go to this place so bad.
a vendor fair. You got to make it quick because they might be.
Oh no.
We also had been a really good week. Had our annual PlayStation shoot for my company. We go there and you pay like $20 and there's a raffle at the end of the day, at the end of the shoot. And everybody wins something. And the prizes are usually valued from anywhere from 25 to 50, maybe a little bit more, depending on what it is, right? Like drill sets and tools and all kinds of stuff, right? And then there's 3 grand prizes, which everybody's ticket gets put back in the pot and everybody has a chance at it. Well, one was like one of the medium large Traeger grills, smoker grills. The second prize was a 65-inch flat screen TV. And the third was a Winchester SX4 semi-auto 12-gauge shotgun.
Okay. Oh wow! Nice.
So as Derek is showing off his spoils of war.
Yes.
Nice.
So we are finally live. Apologize about that. Had some technical difficulties getting everything lined up. But we are back. We have everybody today. So yay. As I didn't really get a chance to go into it with you, Derek, about your character's background, we're going to assume that you've already had at least the introduction to the main NPC, just for ease of getting everybody into the game.
Okay.
So I'll explain.
Who is this main NPC?
And I will explain that when we get to game.
Okay.
So as a brief recap, everybody has kind of sort of met one another, the other 3 I should say, and the weirdness of the situation that you've been thrown in. You decided to take the testing room, the gym, the threat room, for a spin, and it ended quickly, rather hastily.
Unceremoniously,
with the chattering of teeth and the frazzling of some nerves as you shrug off the stunning.
Painful learning experiences by all.
Yes. But that being said, where we pick up, you're actually still at the base, and Dale's character, Mark, has actually just made the revelation that something about this place was very familiar to him already, and that seemed kind of out of place. So you guys are welcome to take it away from there.
What dice do we use for this game?
Just 2D10.
Percentile.
Yep, percentile.
Mm-hmm. I imagine you could use a D100 if you actually have a D100, but not many people do.
Those are huge, typically.
I know.
Yeah, it's like a golf ball.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that right
the
there.
original ones were literally
Jerome
like
had.
Well, Jerome, I think, had one. Or at least
no,
one of us did.
Yeah, he just put it.
That's it.
The original ones, didn't they? They actually did have just divots, almost like a golf ball, didn't they?
Yeah, that is literally what this has. I don't know if it'll focus,
okay.
but yeah, that's literally how it works. It's got BBs inside it.
Do you take it out of the
Dome?
capsule?
No.
Oh no. Yeah, you don't want to open it. You'll break it if you do.
Gotcha.
So Mark realized that there was something familiar about this joint.
Yes, that is quite literally where we left off. A piece of his memory came back to him, and the place seemed familiar.
Oh, and as a side note, for all those in the listening universe and for you guys, it's weird when you're at Walmart and you see a Dungeons and Dragons beginner set, along with like a triple dice pack. This isn't it, but it was like a triple dice pack, three full sets sitting on the toy shelf as you're waiting for your son to pick out a Hot Wheels toy. I'm like, oh,
Wow. Nice.
Walmart, really?
Well, Target's got it. I don't see why not Walmart wouldn't at this point.
Who knew? I
It's a
didn't.
different world now.
It is. Back in character.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
what else?
understand why I have this memory, but it does mean something. A part of my history is here. Strange.
What else can you see in that memory? Are there any people there? Sounds?
Fortunately, at the time, I was in my prototype state. I had only just recently attained rudimentary sentience. My optical sensors were also prototypical, fuzzy. But the structure, layout, the stalagmites and stalactites, they all match. And I go ahead and walk over to where I think I was, and I stand there and aim in a direction where it seems like my memory syncs up.
Yeah, sure.
I believe I was, or at least my optical sensor was here.
Why don't you give me an intuition check?
Sure. Well,
All right. All these great rolls. Okay, yeah, so you're just kind of like looking around and still trying to make heads or tails of everything that's going on.
yeah.
And while you are doing that, the elevator is you can hear is actually coming down. Has kind of a not a very loud audible sound. Almost like the if you guys remember the old outside bank teller lines where you would send the tube to the teller with like your whatever it was you were giving them. It sounds kind of like that, like air moving through air moving through a pipe, and then it opens. You hear the kind of the breathing of the pipe a little bit, and the door opens up, and it's the woman that brought you all together. Meredith comes walking back out. It's only been maybe, we'll say it's like about, well, no, because you guys did your testing, you explored and whatnot. It's been about like 2.5 hours since you last saw her, and she comes walking back in with a person. So Derek, your character, yeah, I don't think you didn't have like any shape shifting. You just have the ability to assume a bipedal form. Correct?
I thought we said that I did. Like, I mean, maybe not. I thought we had said like I could, if I wanted to, be a dog.
Right.
But I'd be.
But you're
So.
well, exactly.
Right.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, it's not like an actual shape shifting. Like you are taking on all the characteristics of what it is that you're doing. It
Right.
is going to be like this.
I just take the shape of it.
Yes. Okay.
But I'm silver. Yeah.
Right. So, in walks Meredith again with a person who looks like a very nondescript human person with a silvery body with a bit of a gold sheen to it.
And does that include clothing?
No, there's no clothing.
Okay.
Like a blank. I would assume that I'm similar to like the blank Ken doll.
Yeah.
In
Okay.
shape,
Gotcha.
but without the hinges.
Right.
Or the facial features?
No, I do that because it's a little bit more pleasing to your eye. So I define it.
Yeah, so think Silver Surfer.
Yeah.
but
blink.
but complete with fake hair as well. Not like actual hair, but like if it was metal looking.
Yeah.
Silvery looking hair.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like I am literally the guy for, what is it? The T1000. Is that what it was? The molten one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Without taking color. Like
Right.
that's me.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and he's just following behind Meredith at this point, and Meredith leads you into this room. And what this room on the inside here, this is what appears to have been like a cave network of some kind that someone took great pains to keep the original shape and not like do like a whole bunch of extensive drilling or whatnot. So the cave network itself still looks, like a cave. There's stalactites and stalagmites in here. There is, I believe we said there was, I believe there is a pool of water in here. And then up adjacent from here, you have to take a lift up to it. There is what appears to be like a type of landing pad or a launching bay of some kind. The best way to describe this in here is kind of like the Bat Cave in that sense. There's like a computer bay of computers off to the side. There's a couple of rooms adjacent to it. Metal floor, but again, the floor and everything in here is built around the cave, not as if it was hollowed out. So, the flooring stays level, but it will occasionally bump up with like rock or whatnot. So then the flooring moved around it, sort of thing. There is a big table that sits out here with several chairs, and then of course there's these three. So if you guys want to describe how your characters look, let's start with Dale.
Sure.
What does Mark look like?
Yeah. So right now, Mark, let's see here. He currently looks like a 6-foot regular man with a bedhead type of hairstyle. Looks like he's around 25-ish years old. His eye color, let's see, is currently blue. Let's see here. And he is wearing currently like form-fitting blue button-down shirt with no tie, black slacks, wingtip shoes. It's Caucasian. Nothing else technically stands out.
He could blend in with the crowd pretty well as that bystander. Brittany?
So my character is also like mid-20s. She's about 5'8" and slender, shoulder length curly blonde hair, but tied back, kind of an all-American look, wearing blacks and also a button-down shirt.
Justin?
Freddy Fingers. I did share the picture so you could have a more visual representation because I had too much time on my hands.
Where'd you share the picture?
He is in the Supers chat. He is currently shirtless, but he is 6'7". He has dark, light brown hair, visible gills on his ribs. They are easy to see, but they look watertight right now. Is your character over 6'7", or like in the 6-foot range?
Right now he is.
You can also see a set of
probably something like, I don't know.
Well, just so from his angle, he'd be able to see 3 holes on each shoulder that seem to be tight as well. Short military style haircut, but other than that, he's wearing a very loose pair of pants right now, and nothing else. And there's a pearl hanging from his neck.
Probably focusing on you.
But the other noticeable thing that you spot immediately in here is it looks like there is a vein of ore that lines one of the walls in the main cave that you're in at this point. and it looks to be a mixture of silver and gold, so it has kind of a tinge to it. So
Wonderful.
Meredith approaches as she has him, in tow, and as she walks up, she's just like snapping her fingers, just getting everybody's attention. Ladies and gentlemen, there is someone else who was late to the meeting. I have circled back and brought him here. Everyone, please meet Ixion.
Welcome, Ixion.
I will leave it up to the rest of you to introduce yourselves. I have an appointment to get to. I will be back shortly. And she's just very, very business about the whole thing. With that, literally like dropping him off, she turns on the balls of her feet and walks back out.
I'm Freddy Fingers.
You are a wonderful specimen.
Yeah, some of the scientists thought that as well.
You are aquatic by nature, I believe.
No, not originally.
No, but you have.
Scientists. Humans are horrible, horrible beings. Every last one of them.
You are the product of an experiment.
Yes, I am.
I mean no offense, but that is horrible and amazing and wonderful at the same time. I'm sorry for any ills or pains that you went through, but
Nah, is what it is. I get to help populations of fish from getting over farmed and keep the earth sustainable a little bit longer.
that is wonderful. As said, my name is Ixion. I hail from the planet Zen-Ri. It is quite some ways from here. My voice sounds kind of almost like kind of tinny because of the metallic. I would assume because of the metallic nature of my makeup.
Sure.
I'm literally making vocal cords out of liquid metal.
You said you're kind of goldish silver. Okay.
Yeah. Let me see. I have been on your planet Earth for some time now. I am a scientist myself. But I am a biologist. I wish to learn more about other species and races and whatnot. And I've had an opportunity to study, at least visually, your planet for some time, and I'm quite well versed in quite a bit, as well as other what you would consider extraterrestrials. What is it you are, ma'am?
Um,
Are you just
Nine-
human?
90% Earthling, you could say, but with a little something special.
Wonderful. And do I notice like odd movements or characteristics of you?
Of the three of us, you'd probably notice that I probably have the straightest posture. My stance is very specific. All of my movements tend to be fluid if I'm walking or moving around. And as you look from Brittany's character to me, I am not biologic, not entirely. You could consider me a meta-organic being. I may be the only one on Earth so far. This is not my actual visage. And at that, I drop the illusion that I have in myself, and you see what I actually look like. I am the same height, about 6 foot, but I now look like just an advanced futuristic robot, predominantly like matte gray finish everywhere, silver highlights, especially around certain edges like the face, arms, joints, and glowing blue eyes.
Wonderful. Are you programmed for to have knowledge of some of the technology that you are made up of?
I'm aware of some of the aspects of my technology. It is based on quantum mechanics, primarily. The illusion that I generated uses quantum virtual photons in order to actually project images either on myself or elsewhere. And at that, I actually generate another visual copy of myself next to you that looks exactly like me. I say, you could even pass your hand through that copy of myself and notice that there's no physicality to it. I
Wonderful.
do have limitations, but I'm
Now,
working on developing the technology.
now, Jerome, does this sound, because I know I'm not well versed in the how it works, but we had discussed that basically I'm essentially marooned here.
Right.
And that's where my, well, not great, but limited, decent resources came from because I'm salvaging stuff and whatnot. But does that sound like some of the similar technology that's on my ship?
That is an absolutely fantastic question. Why don't you go ahead and give me a reason check based on the limited information that you have before you? So just roll a percentile and let me know what you get.
Roll percentile on what? I'm sorry.
Just roll percentile and let me know what you get.
39.
39. Okay, so that's enough for a green result given your reason capability. You're not sure if you got the chance to look a little closer, perhaps.
I believe that there may be some similarities with the technology that you possess and are made up of and my ship. I'm not that's not my forte. My forte is biology, but I would be intrigued to see what you have to give insight. I would love to be able to potentially communicate with my home once again. It has been some time. And well, as with myself, I am an organic metal, if you will. If is what I've been able to describe myself is that you would understand. I am closest to your makeup of mercury. Um, and I am able to, and I just like let my body collapse, but my head is still intact.
Okay.
And so, like, I'm a puddle with a head, and then I have like, and I can kind of I'll scoot along the floor and then, you know, reform to come back out. And I said, I can even do things that are a little bit awkward and have like a third arm come out of my chest or something like that, you know. I can, and with my knowledge of your biology and how the makeup is of the vocal cords, I am able to manifest by forcing air across a modified. And what I'll do is I'll actually thin my skin, my outer skin, to where you can actually, where it would actually open up and you can actually see my vocal cords. And you'll, like, to where it's almost like wafer thin, but so it still has the air pocket, you know, because obviously if they're just wide open, it's not going to have anything. As you see But my race communicates more with electrical impulses along distances or what may be radio waves to a point, or once we are able to come in contact with one another, we can intertwine ourselves.
So
It's
That
you
sounds like a form of telepathy.
what you may consider as such, but it is not mental. It is purely a physical contact through that. Our essence is throughout our whole body. It's some of my race can separate their mass. If I am separated, I am essentially injured, but some have it to where they have been able to separate themselves into multiple entities with the same conscience. However, if I were to chop off my arm, so to speak, it would hurt. I have not reached that level of expertise with my body functions, if you will. But
On
I
a
do
side
not.
note, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Brittany.
so this is your true nature, uh, irrespective of the planet that you're on.
Yes. Yes. This is my natural state. Others of,
Very
and
interesting.
I have started to try, but it is a long time coming that I may be able to manifest in more color. Texture I can do, but color I cannot. Henceforth, the monochrome, no pun intended.
Interesting. How long did it take you to travel from Zenri to Earth?
Pause. How long did it take? Oh, great one. Roughly.
I think we put that in your background. Let me take a look.
I don't recall if you did or not. I can't remember.
First, the android asks the tough questions.
Yeah. If you got it closer.
Big blurb. Here we go. It took you roughly a year.
Oh, okay. Approximately one Earth year.
That is impressive. That would seem to indicate that your race is mastered faster than light travel. According to physics that humans have generated thus far, that should be impossible.
Have we, Jerome?
Oh, you already knew that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, we have. Unfortunately, I believe my engine, if you will, on my ship has been damaged to the point where I would not be able to, I cannot travel with it. And I am not of the sort that can fix it with my knowledge at this point in time, which is why I would like to try to find a way to communicate, to at least be able to perhaps communicate with my race home.
I would.
If you're able to bring some of your yes, exactly, as would I. If you're able to bring at least some of your technology here, we may be able to reverse engineer, understand it, and repair it.
I can see about that in the future, yes.
What brought you to Earth in the first place?
My studies. I went on a research sabbatical, and we, as a race, we have visited your planet a couple times to where I had seen reports from many years ago of brief encounters with those on your planet, and I was intrigued. I have seen many different races and beings, uh, and I have had the opportunity to study many different beings on different planets that we are uh, in communication with or at peace with. And I was given permission through my leadership to take my craft and come here to study and, if possible, interact, as I have had recent opportunity with Meredith. But I have not, I have mostly, in my time here thus far, observed, as my countenance would be alarming to most. Although in a technological area, I can hide myself and I can still, even though I manifest it as ocular devices, my eyes, if you will, I don't need them. I don't,
Therefore, they are just for show.
for your aesthetic presence. I have found in what little interaction I have had with the beings on this planet that this, and my face just goes blank, isn't as pleasant.
It is somewhat alarming.
Henceforth, and then I take shape again.
So much non-verbal communication comes through facial expression that
Yeah.
the lack of such um, makes it very unnerving for humans. This is true.
Yes, and I have learned a little bit. I have learned some of the more blatant surprise, and you could see something what would look like, my facial expression stretch or the anger. Some of the more subtle are not. I haven't quite got the hang of manifestation of those yet.
Do you feel similar emotions as well?
Yes, yes. I just do not know how to manifest them physically.
Mm.
I am sure that if you were to measure my electrical impulses, that you would see different levels or different results based on my mood.
Mm. Fascinating.
But as seen, I do not need to breathe, or I do not even need to eat. I am myself. I am almost self-preserving. I can ingest, but it's not utilized. I usually can gain what you would deem as sustenance through my contact with things, in which I would simply absorb minute quantities of essential minerals that I would need for survival, which
Oh,
is minimal.
suppose that will save us on groceries.
Yes.
And as you guys are conversing and trying to figure out Ixion and the revelation of more aliens, the lights dim, and a klaxon starts to be heard. It's not super loud, but it's loud enough to, echo in the chambers here. And it sort of an alarm, a red alarm, starts flickering, which, given the fact the lights have dimmed, adds to a little ominous element inside the cave.
Go over to the computer bay to see if I can find out what's causing the klaxon.
Okay. It looks like much of this has already been kind of hardwired and pre-programmed. So when this sort of thing goes on, it's already keying up on one of the large monitors that's attached to it. And it pulls up, and it's got a news crew that are following what appear to be two super powered beings of some kind. And they are like right in the middle of a what appears to be some sort of prison break. So there is a prison transport overturned on a freeway outside of town, and there's two individuals currently there. One of which he's wearing a hat. He's got some glasses. He's in kind of a blue outfit, vest, and with sleeves rolled up, with white and blue pant, like a white and blue pant design with brown boots with buckles on them. He has a white fleur-de-lis on his chest lapel. The other one, and he's a average height, maybe 5'10", so maybe slightly tall for a male. The other one is a female. She's in kind of a reddish-looking colored outfit with almost like bomber goggles on. She has the bob cut. She has visible electricity crackling all around her, sparking off. And while the computer is showing the, you don't hear the audio for what's going on, but the computer's already doing facial recognition on the two subjects that it spots. And as it's doing that, you see the one guy do one of these numbers, go up with his fists, and you see a rock raise up from the ground all by itself and crush the front of the bus, the prison transport. So it is completely inoperable. Even if you flipped it over back on its four wheels, it's thrashed and could have possibly done something to the driver. The computer then comes back and registers an identification, and it identifies the girl as Disaster Girl and the man as Gaten Belloc.
Can I roll either reason or intuition to know who Clayton is?
Gaten?
Or Gaten, sorry.
Yes, absolutely.
It
It would be intuition.
What's his name again?
Gaten Belloc. Gaetan Belloq.
I only got a 41.
That's probably good enough. What's your intuition?
26. Remarkable.
That's enough. His identity is public. He is a known terrorist out of Quebec, formerly part of the Free Quebec Liberation Front.
Does it have any specific motives like mutant liberation, metahuman type of stuff?
Everything he does is terrorist related. So he'll work for the highest bidder, but predominantly most of what he does is in an effort to liberate Quebec from Canada.
This is some Quebec terrorist.
What's he doing in our prisons?
Probably got caught doing something on our side of the border. So I guess we get to go out and save the day, right?
Where are we located?
Well, at that point, Meredith is coming down, back down from somewhere inside the vein, as the location is known as, and she's just again, all matter of fact, very busy. She says, "Oh, good, you've managed to master the computers so far. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen, you're going out to go stop these two."
Do we have
The
transportation?
town is called Strongford,
What state are we in?
Colorado.
Colorado?
Something he does is he takes his necklace. It has one of those adjustable straps that are on both sides,
Mm-hmm.
and he pulls it tight so the pearl's up against his skin now instead of hanging.
Okay, sure.
Because he doesn't have his soon-to-be trademark armlet yet.
Gotcha.
You never have all of your equipment in the zero issue.
Yeah, this is true. But this is issue 2. So
Issue 1.
just an FYI.
Well, this would be issue 1 if it was 0 before. But
No,
who knows?
it's issue 2.
Okay.
He'll start walking towards it as he adjusts the pearl to be flush up against the skin.
Okay. And so she says, "Everybody make your way to the lift. We will have the pilot drop you off someplace nearby."
Head under the lift.
He is not putting on a new shirt, by the way.
Okay.
But he does pick up his boots so he can actually move around easily.
Oh, and as you were doing that, Meredith throws you a mask.
Alrighty.
Yeah,
Is it my old mask or is it a new mask?
No, it's actually a new mask. It's just
Okay.
It's super generic. It's just like a green kind of, goes directly over the eyes and wraps around sort of thing.
as we walk out, Carmen will be kind of changing her appearance, trying out different costume ideas, because Brittany didn't settle on anything,
All right,
so
that's fine.
she's just gonna basically cast an illusion to obscure her identity.
Okay.
I'm going to maintain my android visage because I'm an android.
Sure.
Nobody
That'll work.
knows I'm an android.
Right. So you get back to the up the lift as the lift is raising up further into the cave and to the dock, in essence, or launch bay, I should say. And the pilot is going through the check at this point, just going off on the switches and making sure the craft is flight ready and getting ready to launch. If you're wanting a visual for where this is at, Strongford actually sits near what is called, let's back up to get the name correct. That's not it. Aha. I believe that's right. Let me double check. No, that is not it. That is way off. My bad. But I know where on the map it's at, so. Yeah, so it's actually near a small town in Colorado in real life called Dinosaur. The Strongford is actually in the place of Wrangley, Colorado. So wipe Wrangley, Colorado off the map. Strongford's actually there, this large city of like 7 million people.
That's Strongford?
Yes. And then Dinosaur, the town, actually sits near the Colorado-Utah border. If you want to kind of know geolocation, like where it's at. And as you are getting in, and the pilot is doing his system checks, he ends up. You see that there's like headsets for everyone, so you can talk to the pilot if you absolutely need to. You just rest it over your head. Headphones like this, sort of, but it's only interconnected to the ship itself.
Is the ship loud?
Yes.
I'm gonna go ahead. So I don't. Let me know if I can do this. Can I actually set up a telepathy network between us?
That is a great question. You have straight telepathy, right?
Straight telepathy, and it's at a remarkable 26.
Okay. So this is going to raise the first question of the night on how you guys want to do this. I know we talked about this at the last game. This is what's going to be called a power stunt. Normally, you only do it with one individual. So you can attempt to do it, but you're going to have to, in order to get the power stunt, you're going to have to burn 100 karma in order to get the first level of the power stunt. That's standard, straight off the books.
Oh, wow.
Now,
All
if
right.
you guys want to pool your karma, you can do so, or you can keep it individual.
And we gain by
Can
that's just like accruing. Wait, how do we gain karma?
By doing good deeds,
Okay.
can I
among other
have
things.
3 separate instances of it running at the same time
For what?
for telepathy, or can I only have it?
Right now, as it stands, you can only do it person to person.
But can I do 3 person to persons?
No.
Okay. Then I'm not going to worry about it for now.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, would he even be able to communicate with me telepathically?
Yep.
You're sapient.
You're organic and you're sapient.
Well, he's
not
not
really
he's
a
not
sapient.
organic, but
Well,
you are sapient,
sentient.
yes.
Oh, okay. Even though I don't have like
Mark, maybe
necessarily, I
not,
don't have
but
a body part, I
definitely
don't have
you.
a brain. Yeah.
So, you're not going to do that then?
No.
Okay. So, something to think about in the future then.
I think we could rig some communication devices fairly easily. We just need some supplies. So we'll have to see what is available in the lab.
So, as the engines roar to life and it gets very loud in here, as the vehicle ends up taking off, firing out of the mountainside as the bay doors kind of open and shoots out into the sky. You hear the pilot come on, and he says, "So we're going to be on site in 10 minutes."
So as a matter of tactics, since this is our first operation and also our first teamwork, what are your capabilities tactically? Who can take hand to hand? Who needs to stay at range, etc. I'm not particularly sturdy, so and also my movement is earthbound, so I'm best utilized at range.
I would also be earthbound, and it seems as if I've been designed to withstand a decent degree of punishment. I could also use my photons and generate multiple copies at the same time for communication, for distraction, for reconnaissance. I do not have any ranged onboard weapon systems. However, my strength is far more than the average person.
Real quick, is there any shirts or anything like this in the jet?
Is there any what?
Like generic shirts?
No.
All right. So the mask isn't going to really help him. There's not many people who are known to have gills. I didn't even think about that when we left.
How many illusions could I have at once, Jerome? And do I have to concentrate to keep them
You have to
on?
concentrate to keep them on, and it's you're facing a similar situation as Justin.
With the stunt thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll keep that to a minimum. I do have range powers, and I also am very good for distraction purposes.
I am physically weak.
Looks
I
like we're all
do-
fighting with movement and not getting hit.
I do have some additional abilities, though, that, though not super effective, I can, and I kind of like hold my hand out and kind of make it snow in my hand a little, like as much as I can. I know I'm not that precise with it, but I kind of, and then
You make it noticeably cold.
yeah, make a little, and then make a little snowball, which I can do.
Yes.
I just realized I'm like Bobby Drake physically, as far as his appearance when he totally iced up in the future, but his projectile powers, it was like issue 1.
Nice.
I look like badass Iceman, but I'm like
Throwing a snowball.
day 1
Yeah.
snowball.
We
Then I
also-
just let it go.
When we get
Which-
down there, the first thing I'm going to try and do is put them to sleep.
Put them
No
to,
need for any of us to get injured if we can avoid it.
And how would you accomplish that?
He touches the pearl. Magic powers, my friend. Magic powers.
When we return, we should create profiles for each of us. That way we can more effectively determine how to utilize our skills and abilities in tactical situations. The magical amulet you have, to me, it defies all logic and physics. If you don't mind, when we return, I would also like to examine it to see if there's some technological aspect to it.
From my knowledge, when I found it, it was labeled as the first pearl.
Interesting.
And each of you feel something attached to your right ear, or what poses as your right ear, and sort of like plant, like sticky in essence, like it's pressed up against it, and then you hear Meredith's voice come along. You have limited earpiece range. Make sure that you don't go too far from each other so I can stay in contact. As a heads up, there's a friendly on site. Try to get this wrapped up before the Justice Legion gets here.
who's
Who's the Justice Legion out of character?
The Justice Legion is basically like the Justice League and Avengers sort of thing. Like they are believed to be the premier superhuman team. Monarch is actually a part of them.
do we know Monarch?
Everybody knows Monarch.
Wait, did we talk about Monarch before?
Yeah, he was touched on briefly.
Who is Monarch?
Monarch is believed to be the premier superhero of this era at this point, with Electrum being missing.
Is he like Superman-esque?
Yes.
What's the group called? The
Oh.
Justice what? Society?
Justice Legion. Those are visuals for Belloc and Disaster Girl I just posted in there. I forgot I had those for you. And not that he's there, but this picture here when it comes through should be good for. Oh shit!
What'd you do?
Hold on a second. My system locked up.
Uh-oh.
Or at least I can hear you. Oh, no, that shouldn't be the case.
And that's
Weird.
Monarch.
I don't know. Did it come through?
We got a
Hawk?
pencil.
Okay. So I'm not muting any mics right now so everybody can hear us. I'm just taking a moment to set up the screen because it even wiped that out for me. Like I have to go back and reset up all the screens. I guess I didn't save or something.
To quote the great prophet. No!
So, in light of this discussion, I guess I am more physical character than I had assumed. My other stats are so high that by contrast, I didn't think I was that physical. But I guess I mean, I'm better than Mr. Fingers over there.
I think you've made some pretty decent character creation rolls.
I did make some uncharacteristically high rolls.
I sucked wind when I was rolling abilities. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I knew
I still
Brittany
think
was
it's
going to
funny,
wind
I
up with
basically-
something because she was rolling really hot for some of her powers. I was just like, wow.
Like I literally have
I
a
didn't even
feeble and 2 typicals.
for your abilities or for your powers.
For my abilities. For my powers, I have 2 goods and was exceptional or EX.
Yeah.
And then remarkable. That's all.
Dale,
Like,
what's your endurance?
Huh?
Dale, what's your endurance?
My endurance is incredible. My strength's incredible. My fighting is remarkable.
Okay.
My
Cool.
endurance is monstrous.
Oh,
That's my highest score.
I don't have anything monstrous.
See,
Wow.
like my
That's like
powers,
really good though.
Wait, I do
my
have some-
powers is where I get the really good rolls at. I've got
So,
3
I can-
amazing powers.
I can take a hit, but I'd be like,
Yeah.
Not the face.
hold on. I'm gonna hit you as hard as I can.
Yeah.
It's like that game that parents used to play with their kids. Let's see who can hit the softest. You go first. Wham! You win.
Yeah.
I thought that was an older brother, younger brother game.
That's that too.
You remember Slugbug?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Do you remember
I
Haymaker
remember
Studebaker?
playing that going across country with my cousin Scott, who's my senior by about 10 or 15 years.
Oh man.
Fun.
He was merciless.
That doesn't sound like.
And so here I am thinking I'm smart, and I said, well, I'm going to create another opportunity for me to hit him, and I'm going to add in Slam Van. Suffice to say, my right side was like...
Yeah.
And I think I like got him like twice. He's like, "Bam, Slugbug," and I'm like,
Yikes.
It hurts. It stings.
yeah, "It burns! My gosh, it burns!"
Nope, that won't do. No, need that. Go and then like that, I guess. Go, almost done. Appreciate you guys'
Yay.
patience. That was really weird. Did the it did go through. Okay, good, cool. Yeah, the second one is Monarch. Or second picture that you got right here, the one that's pencil drawn.
Yep.
Not that he's there, but you guys would know that because he's in the news that much.
I had a feeling when you said Monarch, I was like, wait a minute.
I was thinking that Cartoon Network show.
That sounds kind of similar to a certain
It was Venture Brothers, wasn't it?
out of character. The picture that he showed was my character from like 25 years ago in a superheroes camp in Heroes and Heroines, and his name was Mock. And
Okay.
Did he like to insult people?
Like mocking.
like Mach 1, Mach 2.
Oh! M-A-C-H. Okay, I was thinking M-O-C-K.
Why not ridicule or taunt or something? Because mock sounds
I know, right?
easier to spell.
The teaser. Oh, wait.
Okay. Now I think I got everything lined back up correctly. Let's pull it over. Yoink. And yes, we're back. Yay. Good Lord, that was weird. Okay, so where we left off, you had a sort of, I don't want to say implant, but a bug that sits in your ear that allows for communications. They're what?
There's a thing called consent.
Yeah.
For probing our ears.
This is not cosplay, so you've already given consent. I don't know, just... Anyways.
Cosplay is not consent.
Awkward.
Yeah, I know.
Awkward!
But that being said, the craft is actually taking you at a pretty decent clip and going over the Colorado countryside. A lot of mountainous and hills in this area, and not a whole lot of roads, thankfully. So it's pretty easy to spot. The road itself, heading it was actually heading I want to say northwest bound towards Utah. And from where you're at, you can actually see that there is a fight of some kind taking place. Another big boulder goes flying through the air, and you end up seeing it get shattered into several different pieces as somebody with a giant hammer nails it and breaks it up into several large chunks, which like pepper the landscape behind him.
There's a third person, or is there somebody? Wait.
Remember, you were told there was a friendly inbound.
Friendly.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the friendly. Oh.
We would assume.
Oh. Okay.
So
sorry.
That's okay.
Catching up.
Yes. So he doesn't bring you down like directly over the fight. He actually drops you off, or brings the craft low at a roughly 50 yards out, so that way you're not in direct conflict range. But there's a guy. He's in kind of a grayish outfit, has like a solid visor that goes around most of his head, kind of comes up to tips a little bit. Think Wolverine, but not like the cloth mask or latex or whatever he has. Kind of like that a little bit, with a ponytail pulled back, wielding a very large sledgehammer with metallic boots. He's holding his own. He clearly got there, and he's doing all right, but the powers that Belloc seems to have, which you're not too sure where it's originating, but he can clearly lift large objects and hurl them, at deadly pace.
Is he lifting them like by hand and throwing them, or
yeah,
are they
he's directing them that way. Yeah, no,
so he's physically lifting them.
No, he's not physically lifting them. He is guiding them by like his hand, like looking at them
I mean, yet to be confirmed, but something similar to like a very strong telekinesis type.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Type. Right. Okay.
A similar visual.
Is he lifting only rocks or other things also?
Right now, it's only rocks, because given where you're at, rocks are plentiful.
Okay.
And you can see that there are people running from where the bus was at. Many of them are in orange jumpsuits. So
Can I count how many of them are running?
Absolutely. As you are in the process of touching down, you count 10.
Okay.
There are 2 individuals who look like they were maybe a part of the convoy, who look like they were a part of the detention center because their uniforms stand out. One of which is near the bus and on the ground and not moving. The other one is actually running away from the fight because he clearly can't do anything, but he's attempting to pursue some of the convicts.
Can I use my illusory duplication to create 1 copy per convict who's trying to get away so that those copies can just follow them and keep tabs on them?
So copies of you?
Yeah.
Okay, because it sounded like there for a minute you were about ready to make copies of the convicts to keep tabs on. I'm like, okay, well, that would look awkward, but okay. Because I'm thinking you're like, yeah, you're just like, I'm going to double them, and then they're going to keep tabs on them, and it's like, that would work, but it's going to be kind of confusing. But yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, so go ahead and give me a power check for your roll, as you're doing this kind of on the fly.
Let's see. Jeez. Okay, 2.
Oh yeah. So maybe you're not used to doing this as quickly as the demand requires. So you're unable to focus and get any of them out at this point in the round. Who is doing what else?
I'm gonna put Big Boy to sleep.
Who's Big Boy?
Rock thrower guy.
Belloc.
Okay, Belloc?
Yeah.
You can hear him screaming something at the hammer guy, but it's hard to make out what exactly is being said with all the destruction and rocks flying and whatnot.
91 on an amazing 46.
Okay.
Everybody goes to sleep. We're just napping now.
I can make
right.
it an area effect, or I can target a single person.
Nice.
Oops, I get my other books out. Got that. Shoot, hold on 1 second.
Not terribly cinematic, but it gets the job done.
Yeah.
Enemies are so scared of us, they just go to sleep because it's easier than the fight.
And what was the name of the power again? Was just sleep?
Sleep induced.
That's what I thought. All right. Oops, I don't want to pull that down. Had something else I need to pull up. Okay, so right in the middle of the fight, you see that he was in the process of, like, some of the ground behind him was ripping up, freeing itself from Mother Earth itself, like just a big chunk of it. And for some reason, he just like falls over and passes out, and like that ground collapses behind him.
And then to be loud and boisterous to get Disaster Girl's attention, he says out loud, "I'm not that scary, am I?" And he starts walking towards them.
Okay, you're still roughly 50 yards out, but okay, that's what you holler. Brittany?
I'm not ready yet. Come back to me.
Okay, Derek? Oh, so he is there.
Can I find it in here real fast?
You can look, but be quiet. Yo. Back.
Your turn?
My turn?
Yes.
Okay. I am going to puddlefy and make my way as quickly as possible to the guard that is down.
Okay, so as an FYI, you would move faster on 2 legs than you would kind of along the ground in your liquid form.
Okay. And if I am in, like, I don't want to get, like, then what I would do is, is he focused on other people right now? Can I make a beeline to this guard without?
Right now, the only one that is up is Disaster Girl, who is being taunted by your friend.
Freddy.
By Dale's character?
No.
Justin's character.
Justin's character, Freddy.
Your other friend.
Oh, okay. So then I will just make a beeline to the guard then.
Okay. So you go running down the road to the guard who seems to be on the ground. So with that out of the way and Belloc having collapsed to the ground, you see Disaster Girl, like, for lack of a better word, start to energize, and just, electricity goes crackling everywhere. And when she does, the bus blows up. Just the remainder of it, it sparks. Big fireball comes off, and she leaps directly at the guy with the hammer because he's closest. And she yells something along the lines of, like, I thought you were a loner. Who are these kids running up here behind you? And hammers directly down on the ground in front of him. She had tried to give him a double axe handle. And as she does, the ground buckles from the impact, and also you see sparks of electricity, so it almost gives the impression of not only does she have super strength, but she has energy on top of it, which is kind of a dangerous combo. And he's backing up. He's getting hit with the electricity, but it doesn't seem to be doing a whole lot to him. At least not the side effects that seems to be rattling off. He hasn't had a chance to see if anybody's here. He's been too busy dealing with them. And he ends up swinging with his hammer and connecting with her so hard. Visual size, he is roughly 6'4"-ish. She's about 5'5". When he hits her with the hammer, you end up hearing a loud bong, like the rattling sound, and you can actually hear the bass, or I should say not hear it, but you can feel the bass effect kind of hit you. He hit her so hard, and she stumbles back a second, and he mutters something, but you can't really make out what it is. But they're clearly, like, arguing with one another, but she absorbed most of that strike and getting ready to come back at him. Top of the round. Let's start with Dale.
Okay. I try again, reinitialize my projector here to generate holograms to follow the inmates, if I can still see them.
It's getting harder, but yes, you still can.
Okay.
So you're attempting to pop 10 out, in essence, to go pursue them? Okay.
Okay. Yes, that's apparently not going to work. Got a 7 on that one.
Something's malfunctioning with your...
So you are experiencing a new emotion that you have not experienced in your sentience. Anxiety. And
Frustration.
it's while enlightening that it is a thing that seems to make people human, it's not helping you right now.
Right.
So
Is he like Data with the emotion chip from the Next Generation? In the
kinda.
movie, kinda.
Thank you. I mean, that's
Kinda,
up to
sorta.
him, but kinda.
Yeah.
So Justin,
The power for sleep induced doesn't state that it can only be used once, and then I have to relinquish it before I can use it again. So can I use it again? I'm just asking for clarification.
You actually cannot. It is something you're having to hold. So,
All right.
So if you hold it, then Belloc is out of the combat at this point. He is slumbering until you release it.
Then I'm going to hold it and kind of emit my heat to project it towards Disaster Girl, since it does say that the power can be used to negate a target's electrical conductivity.
Okay. So why don't
And that
you?
wouldn't lift the power for sleep, right?
What's that?
That wouldn't lift the power for sleep, correct?
No, it would not.
Okay.
Well, that doesn't come from your gem, does it?
That comes from the pearl, yeah.
Okay. Why don't you give me a psyche check? We'll make it a test. See if you can do both.
Can I sit down, Daddy?
60 with an incredible 36.
How many coins I found, Dad?
A 60. Okay. So you.
And then my regular score is a 36.
Right. So you end up. So you arc off the heat, and given the fact that you haven't gotten the Pearl's mastery, you can feel that spell in essence lift. One second.
This, Daddy, that looks awesome.
You have it's heat generation.
Heat emission.
Heat emission. Okay, that's what it was. Oops. Would help if I spelled that correctly.
E6. If you're looking it up in the book.
Dang it.
And I have that on a amazing 46 as well for that power.
Be right back, okay, Dad?
Oh, E6, yeah. Okay. Boink. Come on. Blah. There we go. So you said heat emission, but I'm not seeing anything here with the. Oh, wait a minute. No, negating a target's electrical conductivity. Okay, yeah. So go, since you are projecting this, it's an agility check.
Okay.
It's in essence a ranged attack.
And that's where my first bad roll comes in. 25, and my
25.
regular agility is 26.
Okay. So you take a moment and focus your hands, and this reddish beam of heat, in essence, complete with the bending of of the spectrum when you see it, like it's literally like heat rolling off of the tarmac, sort of thing. It goes flying out. It doesn't actually strike anybody. It actually comes close, which alerts the guy with the hammer that there's people back there. Something came flying from behind him. And after this, after this round, we'll be rolling for initiative. So Derek or Brittany.
Okay, so the escaping prisoners
Mm-hmm.
are kind of scattered in every direction, right?
Getting more so with each passing round, yes.
I would like to create an illusion maybe like a fire, like a line of fire, kind of a perimeter
Oh, okay.
around them to stop them from running.
Alrighty. Why don't you go ahead and roll for your power?
56
On a what?
on a incredible 36.
Not too shabby. Okay. So Dale, as you are, because you're actively looking out that way too, because you were trying to make your duplicates, you see a fire spontaneously erupt, out in the distance, and it's pretty major.
Okay.
And you see that it looks like it's starting to confuse the people that are there, like they're starting to like turn and try to avoid the fire at this point.
Gotcha. Okay.
Derek, you are still hauling ass towards the downed detention
Guard.
officer. Guard. Okay. Next round you will be there.
Okay.
All right, so now okay, as he recovers, I need Brittany, Justin, and Dale, give me an agility check.
65 on 26.
All right.
Seven.
You need new dice,
Yeah, I was
my
going to
friend.
say, Dale, do you want to swap out your dice?
I have been trying different dice every time.
Oh no!
Oh, no.
Freeze them, smash them, like line them up, freeze that pair, and then smash them.
So we know what Dale's birthday
The
gift is
other
going
dice.
to be. It's going to be a dice jail.
Make an example.
You can use the dice roller in the Discord.
Yeah, I'm close to.
That is true, yeah. Actually pretty easy to use. Brittany, what'd you get?
I got 29
Hmm.
on remarkable 26.
Okay. So all three of you end up going up into the air spontaneously, just getting ripped up. Justin, you're not really off balance. It just caught you by surprise.
All right.
Brittany and Dale, yeah, you were just totally not expecting this, and when you got yanked up into the air, like it sent you kind of upside down and spiraling, upward, completely off, and in a moment's notice, the kind of upward rotation that you guys were at suddenly launches you into the countryside.
Okay.
Let's see.
And you start hearing banjos.
Not that far.
Now we have bigger problems.
Okay, so let's see.
Check out this android. He's got a purty mouth.
All right. So why don't you all give me endurance checks?
Myself included.
So
No.
also I have acrobatics. So was that supposed to apply?
That was supposed to apply. But what did you only rolled like a 29 or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wouldn't have helped. But it would have applied here, yes. Basically, anytime if I'm calling for an agility check of something,
Add my acrobatics.
bring it up, unless I say otherwise.
Okay. Takes some getting used to.
That's okay.
You said endurance roll?
Yes.
Oh, endurance.
Endurance.
95 on a 26.
Okay, good deal. Yeah.
77 on a 26.
Oh,
How high up are we?
hi.
I rolled in the chat, got a 63.
Oh, now see, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I am an android, so I guess I should be using technology for rolling. I guess it just makes sense.
yeah, there you go.
It's all going to be like downhill from here. You know, you're like, oh, 90, 80, 70. Yeah.
Okay, so give me 1 second. Oh, shoot. Where'd it go?
I already have my next turn planned out now.
Here we go. Character.
I reasonably deduced.
Dale, you wind up taking 10 points of impact damage. Your body armor absorbed a chunk of that for you. So the plating kind of rubbed off, or I should say absorbed parts of that impact, winding up only giving you a whole 10 points of damage. Brittany, you don't have... let me take a look. Rather than just say that. Everybody's sheets here. That's what I thought. Okay. So you end up taking 20 points of damage as you kind of hit pretty hard. Justin, you would have hit the ground actually pretty hard, but as you were not thrown kind of end over end, I mean, you were projected, but you weren't caught off guard with the whole initial getting ripped up into the air. As you were being thrown back into the ground, you kicked on your rocket power, and it prevented you from impacting. So you are maybe 10 feet off the ground.
You actually read my mind.
Yeah, that was a defensive reaction. You're just like, I'm in the air. Oh crap! So those of you who dropped somewhere near him, you see this kind of explosive aura around him, and it blasts backwards to stop him from going too far, and he ends up narrowly stopping about 10 feet before he would have impacted.
Nice.
That's handy.
Okay, so we're going to go to, and at this point, the guy with the hammer and Disaster Girl are still duking it out incredibly hard back and forth. So we're going to go to initiative at this point. So everybody just give me 1d10.
8.
I'm on 90s. Sorry. 9.
Okay, 1 second.
And I also got a 9.
Nice. Dale. Okay.
Meanwhile, Justin's brain is trying to figure out how much impact I would generate at being a 200-pound guy flinging himself at full speed at this dude.
You don't know the math offhand, but if you want to attempt it, I could certainly tell you.
You're like,
Once it happens.
Carries 1 times 3, a lot.
And the rocket travel is an extension of my heat abilities.
It is, yes. Okay, so we've got the initiative. So you guys are up, Dale and Derek. So Derek, as you're not really paying attention very much to what they're doing. You're just kind of running catty corner to it. You run right by them as they're, hitting one another, and as Sledge ends up hammering her with his hammer again, just crack. She buckles again, and she's like, "All right, damn it!" and lifts up the burning bus, and just goes and like smashes it over him like twice, as it's like crumpling and breaking off into pieces.
Like, my side thought as I'm passing is like, and I would be grunting picking up a window pane.
As you are advancing at this point and kind of broken off to the right side of the conflict, go ahead and give me a intuition check to look over the human laying face down.
30.
30.
Although that is my talent. So I have biology, genetics, alien studies.
So you have well, biology is the only one that comes into play here. So you have what for an intuition?
Good.
Okay.
Shouldn't alien studies come into play because
and you rolled a 1?
humans are alien to them?
What'd you roll?
Rolled a 30.
A 30. Okay.
30.
That bumps it up. Okay. Initially, you are not certain.
Okay.
You're probably going to have to take another moment or two to investigate or check.
Is there visible other than like scrapes blood?
Yes, he has like a pretty bad like hematoma forming on his forehead.
You're talking about Sludge?
No,
the guard.
Oh, the guard.
The guard. Yeah, he's gone over to try and help the guard.
Okay.
So that was your action as you were investigating. You're not too sure yet. Dale.
Okay. About how far away am I now from the combat?
At this point, you were flung into the ground. So you guys are a good 50 feet from where you were.
Okay.
Little spring fling.
Yeah. I start making my way, jogging back towards the foray, and one more time, instead of going after the inmates this time, I try to generate just like let's go with 10 copies of myself and just have them kind of circling around trying to distract Disaster Girl.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and give it another check?
Okay.
Oh, and Brittany, can you give me a roll versus your psyche?
99.
Oh.
Wow.
Got a 46 on that.
Okay,
I think
that is good. So you, whatever happened right there, maybe you finally had enough. You focus and finally just multiple copies jump up, out from you and just start hauling ass over towards Disaster Girl. Brittany, the roll was actually for your hold up the illusion.
So I guess that was successful.
Oh, very much successful. That must have been like the singular focus you had in your mind when you got flung was like, don't drop it, don't drop it, don't drop it. And as you hit, you kept thinking about it, and you got up and you looked and you checked and you're like, yes.
Okay. I would like to begin making my way back. But I would also like to wait, is what's his name? Belloc, is he on his feet again?
Oh, very much so, yes.
Okay. Then I guess and he's closer to us, right? Or closer to me?
No. He was still kind of far out when he flung you guys, distance-wise. But you're closer to Disaster Girl at this point from where you guys are at.
Then I'll just I'll aim at her then. I'm gonna use my my hard radiation emission and try and hit her.
Okay. So you focus and now when you manifest your hard radiation emission, how does it come out? Are you focusing that on your eyes? Are you shoving that out through your fists like a standard superhero? Like
Hands.
Hand strike. Okay. Go ahead and roll your agility. You will not add acrobatics for this.
Oh, okay. Well, I rolled for the power itself.
No, just for agility.
Okay. Dang it. That's a 31.
31. All right. Hey, what's going on, Game Tees? And your agility is
26.
All right. So remarkable. And you got a what again?
31.
31. Oh, Just barely. Okay, so as she hammered sledgehammer with the bus, and of course it's crumpling and in pieces and whatnot. You end up firing wide. You completely miss the duplicate copies that are all charging through the desert over towards Disaster Girl. But your blast ends up going wide. Like she saw, maybe it was the duplicate androids that are all of a sudden advancing towards her that she spotted first, but then saw that you were back there and made your effort to try and shoot. So she ducked before you got anywhere near her, and your shot goes wide. Justin.
I am going to do something that's either going to be stupid and cool or stupid and painful.
Okay, what you going to do?
I'm going to use my rocket power, and I'm going to, even though I don't have the physical strength, Justin, the player, knows physics.
Okay.
I'm basically going to fling myself into Bellic.
All right. So he puts everything he's got to it. You see that blast of his literally blast off, and he takes off like a shot. Again, he didn't go very high, so he's like maybe 10 feet above the ground, and the ground's just like rippling up all around him as he's rocketing through the air straight at Belloc. Go ahead and give me an agility check.
Come on, baby. 47 on 26.
Okay, and all right. So you had the right intention. You came bolting at him like like your own burst of energy, and flying to the air as fast as you can. You got almost up to max speed by the time you got to him, and he ends up reaching out with his hand. Taking a side step to try and dodge you, and you literally feel yourself rocket straight into the dirt.
Like I said, either stupid and cool or stupid and painful.
But it was like when he hits, big old explosion, like dirt goes flying everywhere and whatnot. Your rocket, however, thankfully, what happens when you end up flying as hard as you do, you don't take you take superficial damage. More to your pride than anything, but your rocket ends the barrier encasement, all of it collapses as you hit the ground. So you did a good bit of damage to the ground, and you thankfully didn't do any damage to yourself. But at this point, you didn't actually. And here's another thing: give me a intuition check. Since you did that.
92 on 26.
Nice. Okay. You didn't really feel as if somebody had grabbed you, right? And like shoved you down. It felt more like the weight of the world suddenly became much more significant around you that caused you to eat dirt. As to what that might mean, you're not entirely sure, but you're getting there. He definitely has some sort of ranged ability to do that. However, in doing so, as he has that grip on you, you physically are unable to move. He has you completely pinned to the ground.
All right.
Okay, so their attack. So with that... 2 rounds, your androids are going to be there. Okay, so Sledge swings and whiffs. He was trying to take advantage of the fact that she ducked, so she was slightly distracted. He swings with his hammer and doesn't connect. She ends up connecting with a punch, but kind of glanced, so you can hear the loud crack as she ends up striking him, but it didn't seem to do a whole lot. So he shrugged it back a little bit and used the end of his sledgehammer to push her back to give them some space still. Belloc.
This is where it's gonna hurt.
Belloc begins to increase. You now feel the weight of the world becoming significantly more. Like all points of your body, your bones and whatnot feel like you're being crushed. This is very similar to the feeling that you have when you go too far below underwater. So you're familiar with this. And initially you were like, okay, I've got it. Now you're like, oh no, I don't got it. And you end up taking 20 points of damage.
All right. No endurance roll on it?
No.
Okay. Double checking.
So top of the round at this point, that is Derek and Dale.
Yep. Have I figured anything else out?
Go ahead and give me another roll. Let's see what you got.
Woo, 94.
Ooh, okay.
I just remembered all my studies.
Yeah. Maybe it was because you were in a hurry, and again, you've never really been in this type of situation that you were a bit too frazzled of mind, and you've got a fight like right next to you. That's lots of loud explosions. Yeah, you're not really a fighter. It looks like he has some pretty serious head trauma. His breathing is shallow, so maybe whatever caused the initial accident's probably what did this to him. If you had to guess, the other guard probably pulled him out before the rock ended up coming down and crushing the bus or the front end of the bus or whatnot. You do know he's going to need medical attention ASAP.
So
you do, however, have the capability of using your cold generation powers to, in essence, make a ice compact, which could help with the swelling.
I'm also wondering, can I encapsulate him, so to speak, and
like Sub-Zero?
No.
Okay.
No. Like me surround him.
You can, but you know
because
that
I could make myself hollow, but I'm just curious to where essentially I'm hollow and now he's like what are those the little Russian dolls?
Yeah,
and he's inside
a nest egg. Yeah, nesting doll.
And I would be able to get him out of there because at least that way I'm able to keep him.
You scored high enough to know that if you could do that. I mean, you could really do that with really anybody, just kind of encase them, and if they're limp, just go with them. But the problem you're dealing with there is you don't have a way to secure him like he would need to be, so you're in essence jostling him as you ran.
Right.
Which could further compact the problem.
Could I drop some of myself back out as a sled, like flatten some of myself out basically, or like maybe do something like that to where I could be pulling him along on a sled of myself.
I do believe you have a power for that.
Give yourself legs.
Well, I mean, it's like the limited phasing ability because you said that I'm able to manipulate myself.
Yeah, you're able to manipulate yourself in the sense that you can go through stuff that's not airtight. But what other powers do you have?
Cold generation, cold shaping, and missile creation.
And what does cold shaping do?
It shapes cold.
We talked about that. That's how Iceman made the shapes.
Right.
So you could make an ice sled and do that.
Pull him along. Okay. Then I do that.
Okay. Okay. So you're able to make. I mean, that's not really that big of a deal. It's basically an ice wedge. So I'm not going to make you roll for that. Give me a strength check.
Okay, come on. Ooh, that's a 74.
Okay.
I looked at it sideways and I was like, wait a second, is that
So
one
you
or a seven?
you put everything into it at this point. You're like, "Urgh," like pulling it along and making some traction, trying to get back to where you need to go.
I'm weak.
You've seen enough of humans, and advertisements and whatnot. Even though this really doesn't apply to you, but like the first thought that went through your head is like, I wonder if they have gyms for someone like me. Is there something I can do to help with that? Dale, I take it you're just advancing with your minions.
Yeah, and let's see here. With my minions, I want my minions to go to a Disaster Girl. Where is the Blob? No. Where's Ixion with relation to
you can
Disaster
you can
Girl?
see him. If this fight goes the wrong way, somebody's probably going to end up running into him or something by mistake, because it's one of those big, like, imagine for a second you have like the Innocents in the park right next to Superman and Zod duking it out, and Superman and Zod duking it out is going to mean mountains are falling, buildings are collapsing everywhere. So it's like nothing's happened to him yet, but something probably will if you can't get him safely out of there.
Yeah. So with that said, then as my copies are headed towards Disaster Girl for distraction, I'm going to be booking it so that I can at least assist Ixion with the guard.
Okay, perfect. Okay, and as you were trying to pull this sled, you see 11 versions of Mark running through the desert. So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So Justin, you're pinned. You're not helpless, but you are pinned. Okay, give me a psyche check first.
82 on 36.
All right. Here we go. Okay, so go ahead and make your test again for the sleep power.
89 on 46.
Okay.
I've had enough with the Uravity over here.
Okay, and so you enact the power of the pearl again, and the spell is released, and he pauses for a second. He's just like, the hell, and falls over asleep again. And when that happens, immediately you feel the pressure that had been crushing you release. Brittany.
Can I get up as well, or is that going to have to wait for next turn?
No, you can get up, but you can't do anything else. You're just like on your knees, starting to get back up to your footing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna try and hit Disaster Girl a second time.
Go ahead and roll.
Am I rolling my power?
You're rolling agility.
I need to rethink that. 19.
All right. So, and again, this is pretty accurate. You're still new to all this. So you end up lobbing another shot, and...
Is this essentially like the to hit?
Yes.
Okay.
It's like you're aiming, I guess.
Okay.
It's just not like...
Thank you! RoboCat 2005 just followed the channel. Thank you very much. Yay! So you end up firing another shot, and you end up striking one of the Mark duplicates from behind. Thankfully, it doesn't topple over. And what is your? Actually, I've got your sheet right here. Your power rank to that is okay. You do some physical damage
To the
duplicate.
Oh, I didn't know they took damage. I thought
it would probably look like your beam, because it's UV radiation. Is that right? That
yes.
You're shooting? So because it's somewhat a part of the light spectrum, you'd probably see it fizzle, and now it's weird and discolored. It would probably look normal, but since it's intangible, it just kind of is a weird, messed up copy now, I guess.
Yes.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, you
Focuses
you
off.
you basically
Yeah, I didn't want to give away the trick. Okay.
so when you shot it, it's not down. Obviously, it doesn't feel pain or anything of that nature. But basically, have you ever seen those? Remember those stickers back in the day that when you press on them, they would start rippling out kind of a rainbow effect of a color, sort of thing, like the heat sensor
rings.
strips, kind of like that. That's basically what you did to his duplicate copy. So it still sort of looks like him, but it's like this rainbowy kind of burnt looking effect to it that really just puts it off.
Like if you push on the TV or like on the
Yeah,
monitor or something like that.
yeah.
There you go.
Hey, random question, or like side question.
Sure.
Can
Random answer.
telepathy be used as like a psychic attack?
It could be developed into it through a power stunt. It absolutely could.
Interesting. Okay.
The most you could probably hope for right now is like scaring somebody. All of a sudden, you're like, boom.
Yeah.
I would ask: is there a difference between a psychic attack and emotional manipulation?
Yes, there is. A psychic
Fantastic.
attack. A psychic attack is literally like a spike to the brain. An emotional attack is literally causing your emotions to collapse on one another. So like manic depressive or angering to the extent of crippling.
Laughing.
No, I'm more thinking a father's disappointment in their daughter. Like straight psychological problems. Okay.
That is possible. Okay, and so
I'm sorry, Brittany.
Like daddy issues.
She had that far off look. I didn't know if she was about to jump through my monitor.
No, I mean, I was thinking like
Brittany has had a heck of a week so far with gaming, so she's leery of stuff that's going to jump out and surprise her rules wise. If you saw her in the Anarch game last night,
I spent most of the fight in torpor. Thanks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Not for the first time.
Okay, so at any rate, back to the fight. At this point, the android-looking things are advancing, and Disaster Girl ends up kind of kneeling for a second, and you end up seeing like energy starting to manifest again around. There's always been some level of energy, electricity, like sparkling and manifesting around her, but now it's almost like going supernova. And you see Sledgehammer like pause, and he's like trying to duck behind the remains of the bus at this point, and big arc of electricity goes flying up.
This is what is defined as an arc blast.
How close am I to this?
Flash.
How close are any of us?
Not close enough. Brittany, had you been advancing?
Yes.
Okay, so then this is going to affect everybody but Justin.
And, well, I'm close enough. Ouch.
Okay.
I thought it'd be close enough since I was fighting.
Belloc?
Since I was
No.
right near what's his face.
You are on the other side of the wrecked bus.
Oh, okay.
So you'll catch wind. You'll probably catch some dirt and pebbles and whatnot from the blast, but you're not going to, like, nothing that would actually physically hurt you. The one benefit of the crater that you made is it actually gave you, like, if you see the explosion, you could just kneel back down in like a prone position, and potentially the blast would go over you. So you don't have really anything to worry about. It's everybody else. Okay, so I need endurance checks from all three of you.
Myself too, right?
Yes.
Boom. 61 out of
Well, I
63.
already know what you have, so you're good.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You're going to take damage, but you're not stunned or anything.
Just like, if I could fight, I'd hit you.
I only got a 15.
Oh!
Oh.
Okay. Brittany?
16.
Oh, ouch. Okay. So the blast rips up, stunning, which kind of makes sense given the fact that you're an android. So stunning both Brittany and Dale. Everybody takes 30 points of damage.
Oh, owie.
But you are still up, Derek.
Yeah.
The confusion over the fire continues because now it's gone away. And now the people in the distance are like, they're just going to keep trying to run, but they're very scattered at this point.
And I see electrical energy fly over me, right?
You absolutely saw that arc go flying up. Given the smoke and debris that's in the way, it's hard because you're on the other side of the wrecked bus on the road going out of town. It's hard to say what exactly is happening, but you did see that big explosion. So that brings us to Derek.
Still hoofing it, I guess.
Okay.
I'm trying to get him into a spot to where if I can get him to where he is in a safe place, then I can maybe chill him a little bit.
You don't have a safe place anywhere around here. Your best hope was your friends coming in to cover for you. They're all down temporarily at this point. And the 11 that you saw is now down to 1.
How close am I to everybody, to the other villains?
You're almost next to Disaster Girl. Like the visual, like I was saying, like here, like if we're looking at the screen here, so like here's the road. Sledgehammer and Disaster Girl have just been like duking it out on the road constantly, just hitting each other and whatnot. You were kind of right off to the side of the road, got the guy and you're like, no, get away! Like just trying to pull as far away as best as possible. You were still well within the danger zone.
Do I know I can manipulate my body into whatever shape I want, basically.
Within reason. Mm-hmm.
Within reason. She's not focusing on me. Is there a way that I could essentially get up behind her and like reach up and
freeze her head
and like encapsulate her face?
Remember, you don't have to touch that. That's something you can project.
Okay. Then yes.
Okay. So go ahead and
because
honestly, if you're trying to do a ranged attack, you're better off than you're fighting. Because if you sneak up, you're using your feeble fighting to try and touch her, as opposed to your typical agility.
Yeah. Okay, I understand. So yeah, then just and try to encapsulate her
Sure.
face.
So you stop for a second as she's recovering.
She passes out. I can take it off of her. I'm not trying to kill her, but if I knock her out, great.
Right. Understandable. Go ahead and roll. Let's see what you get.
91.
Okay.
All
right. That is a bullseye hit. She makes her endurance check. All right. So this is like that scene from Fight Club where Tyler Durden keeps egging him on, and he's like, "No, come on, punch me." And then when he finally swings, he's like, "You hit me in the ear," sort of thing. Like so you end up shooting it. So you end up shooting her, and she really didn't pay any attention to any of you, really. The blast was to get everybody off, and just out of nowhere she's starting to stand up, just and takes her over to one side. So she's got like this ice kind of extending off her head like this. She's like, and just super pissed because it's obviously, blurring her vision a bit. And with that,
Can I immediately drop to nothing?
not yet.
Just
Justin,
wanna hide.
Yes, sir.
you are up.
I'm. Do I hear her scream as she gets blobbed in the face?
Give me an intuition check. That's entirely possible.
88
Okay.
on a 26.
Yes. So you don't know if it's her, but yes, you definitely heard that groaning of something happening.
For a female.
Something
probably,
happened and they were pissed.
Was it a voice I recognized?
No.
All right. I'm going to stay right where I am and make sure old boy doesn't wake back up.
Okay, so you're going to keep him in check and snoozing.
Correct.
Okay.
Even though in his brain he can probably take another heat swipe at her and should be able to keep him asleep, he's not taking the risk in the field the second time.
That's fine. That's a sound judgment. Okay. So as you blast her from the side unexpectedly, and she's got kind of that that frozone sort of look to her head with the cold, and she's turning, she looks at you, and she energy is already crackling off her, like she's gonna pound you into the dirt. And just as that happens, Sledgehammer comes up. Oh, yeah, I figured he was gonna take advantage of this. So he ends up he chokes back on the sledgehammer like a pro baseball player, and hits her with such a force that she goes end over end up into the air, and you start losing sight of her. And there is a crack of thunder as it strikes, as one would expect when you're dealing with super strength on super strength. And of course, the last thing you see are the fragments of the ice just shattering as she goes flying through the air. So that is their round. Dale and Brittany, give me endurance checks.
He's been drinking his milk.
18. I'm going to change my dice.
Okay.
Oh!
92.
92.
Yeah.
Okay, so Dale, you end up, your systems reboot from the lag spike that you end up encountering. Co-processors.
Everyone hears the Windows boot up song.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, exactly. But for some reason, it's the 95
When it
song.
first happens,
I don't know if we should be worried.
Windows 95.
Yeah.
It's the 90s right now, right? So
Yep.
If he would have rolled low, it would have been like.
The air raid sound that you hear when your baud modem is connecting, your dial-up. So yeah, your co-processors kick back through and you shake it off. In the on the back of your retina, it's giving you kind of a damage report, rolling up what systems are still down or not functioning, or whatever damage you took, and a percentage relay and whatnot. So you can see that your friend, I don't know if she actually introduced herself as Lightbringer, but huh?
I did not use my code name.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I don't think I used her name at all.
She's actually still down on one knee and just kind of holding on to her head, trying to recover. And you see the guy with the hammer go racing off down the road.
Got it. I make my way towards Carmen to see if she needs any help.
She's not really responsive, so probably. Why don't you go ahead and give me another roll, Brittany?
53.
Okay. So finally, after some prodding from Mark, and I don't mean like super physical, just like, nudging, just checking to see if you're okay, you start to recover from that electrical attack, which was a lot more powerful than you expected.
Can I use emergency medicine in some way? As
Or what?
I mean, to recover myself.
No, not to recover yourself, but there is an injured right in front of you.
Was it the guard?
Yes.
Okay, I'll go check on him.
You can absolutely use it there. So why don't you go ahead and give me a reason check? You're going to bump it up to the next column.
As she's doing that, I then head over to see if I can find Freddy, where he's at.
Okay, so I rolled a 41. My reason is already at 62.
So do you know what column that puts you in? It's up from monstrous.
Oh.
That puts you in the unearthly category. So
Earthly.
by looking at him, you probably took a class or two in college and didn't really invest a whole lot into it because you're like, I've got this. There was just a lot of semantic stuff, and just by looking at him, without even additional equipment, you're like, oh, this is wrong, da 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 da, extrapolating from what happened. I'm like, short of having his actual medical history, you know exactly what's wrong and how to treat him.
Am I able to treat him?
Somewhat.
Or just
Somewhat, yes.
all right.
Enough to stabilize him.
I'm going to come out of the hole, and I'm going to start looking for some handcuffs. There's got to be some scattered around here.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and give me a intuition check. And Dale, you do eventually see him just kind of wandering the nearby countryside.
78 on a 26.
You're good? He looks like he's looking for something.
I'm going to start cuffing up Bellic. And I'm going to make it a little uncomfortable, not so much that it's like inhumane, but like it's behind his back, then down to his ankles, and then there's another one coming over his chest, clipped in around the waist.
Gotcha.
And we can see him doing this, right?
Eventually, yeah. Yeah.
Who's he doing this to?
Bellic.
Belloc.
So even if Bellic suddenly gets up and tries to like move around, his gravity powers may let him float. It's not going to take off those cuffs.
Blindfold him too, in case he can do something sight-based.
You'll do that too.
Okay. And you see some. You see two vans coming down the road from roughly the direction you guys were, came from.
We identify if are there any like sirens in the vans or
No.
lights or whatever?
No sirens. But you do see equipment on the top of both of them.
We should all put on our game face. We're about to meet the media.
I come over to Freddy and I say, how did you manage to incapacitate this one?
I put him back to sleep.
Interesting. You'll have to explain your methodology when we return to the vein. And I go over and I just lift up Belloc and I work on carrying him.
So something he's going to do before the vans get here is he's going to take the pearl. He's going to open up one of his gills, and he's going to hide it inside himself.
Okay. Give me a psyche check.
Okay. 56 on a 36.
Okay, you're fine. I mean, you essentially did the equivalent of putting a large precious stone in your mouth So it's making you feel uncomfortable.
It makes me feel uncomfortable.
I could hold that if you're wishing to conceal it.
No, that's all right. I can conceal here. It'll be fine.
And both vans end up coming to like a quick stop, and then right behind it, you end up seeing another large van, armored looking, and it has hoplite written on the side.
Oh,
Does that mean
Hoplite?
anything? Is that like common knowledge stuff?
Not super common knowledge, but if you guys give me a successful intuition check, it's super possible.
What type of lights are coming up?
55 out of GD8.
So what'd you get there?
55 on a GD8.
You're good? What'd you get, Brittany?
57 on a 36.
Okay, this
You
was
said
already
intuition?
This was already mentioned to you, so you should already know it.
Yeah, I mean, but Brittany can't remember.
21 on 26. Whatever we're rolling for.
Yeah, and I got a 16.
Okay.
Hang on, let me see if I can
Does not compute.
inform
It sounds like you're talking about like flashing police lights and stuff like that.
So the two of the vans come to a stop, and you can see news crews are coming out for pictures. You can hear a helicopter coming in the distance. The armored van pulls right up.
Oh,
yeah,
I
you
do know that.
found your notes?
Yep.
Okay. Yay. I was going to say, Brittany.
I'm sorry.
I know you know that one.
Okay.
I know, it's been a week. But it's more fun when I harass you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay. But the van comes to a stop, and you see 5 guys jump out, heavily armored with almost science fiction looking rifles and shield units.
I'm gonna take point and go up to whoever looks like they're in charge of the hoplite dudes,
Okay.
and I'm gonna give them a sit rep, and just explain that Disaster Girl is in the distance facing off with Sledgehammer, and then some of the other inmates we weren't able to hold on to, and here's our Belloc, who's been not reprimanded. What's remanded? Is that
Detained.
Contained, but remanded into custody. Remand into custody, I should say. But
so
contained, yeah, either way. So I mean,
there are still inmates that are at large.
yeah. So the officer's like, I can't do anything about the inmates that are in the wind right now, but we're happy to take Belloc off your hands. And at this point, you end up seeing Sledgehammer walking back down the road. He has Disaster Girl over his shoulder, and she has some sort of collar around her neck.
He'll look at the officer and say, "Yeah, he should be asleep for a couple more hours." I got a really good success on it, right? Like, can I tell how well the power took effect?
Yeah, but it lasts until you release it.
The rule book said something about a number of successes for the up to 10 hours.
Yeah, but I mean, basically what it comes down to is it's going to last until you release it for purposes of this scene. So,
okay.
But I mean, that's what these guys are here for. As they hop out, while he's, sleeping at this point, they end up they keep him in the handcuffed situation that he's already in, but they end up putting a collar around his neck as well.
Do I recognize that as a power dampening collar?
Yes, you do.
Then I'm going to go ahead and release the sleep.
You have seen that technology before.
Have I seen it before?
Yes.
I'm not a big fan of scientists. Just saying.
Yeah. Yes, you have, Brittany. It's when you met Sledge.
That other time.
Yes.
Okay.
Do I know of these callers?
No. Because you haven't really done the superheroing thing. You've just been studying them from a humanity perspective. So yours has been broad, like, what's this game of baseball? Why do they go to work this way? You know, it's like, what does it mean to be a different race? I don't get it, you know. So you've been just like looking at it from a completely different perspective. You haven't really drilled down on some of the minutia, like, you know, inhibitor style callers and particular factions that handle this sort of thing and whatnot. The media comes out and they, of course, just start kicking up a barrage of questions like, you know, who are you guys? Who is this? What, you know? And it just, I mean, it's hard to even hear what it is that they're saying. They're just like hammering you guys with questions and trying to shove the microphone, you know, in your guy's face. Sledgehammer ends up laying down, not very gracefully, Disaster Girl, and they, you know, take the collar off and put theirs on and hand him back his, and he just, you know, attaches it to his belt.
Does he look damaged?
Oh yeah, he's been through the ringer.
Freddy will walk up to Sledgehammer and shake his hand publicly. We're really glad to be able to assist you today.
Yeah, no, thanks for the assist. And he looks at Lightbringer and he's like, "Can you clue me in? I didn't know you were part of a team."
This is a very recent development.
Oh. Okay. Sure. And so he like starts walking forward and kind of giving the press like that information, very, you know, brief, like overview sort of thing. As you can see, the helicopter that's coming in was actually not a news helicopter. It's actually in relation to the police, who are now, of course, trying to scour the countryside to find the people that ran away.
So they were the regular police?
Yeah, the regular police is pulling up at this point too, that are trying to, because their mandate obviously is to try and get the escaped convicts.
Okay.
And so he's like, I don't know how you heard about this, but credit where credit's due. Thanks, appreciate it.
So are we still in public, so to speak, or have they?
You're still sort of in public, but by this point the press has kind of branched off to either side of the street, or I should say road, to start doing their, like, their news update. You know, I'm on the side of blah 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 sort of thing.
I'm not communicating with them at all.
Where is our transport in all of this?
Yeah, where did our ship go? Or jet?
Away.
Okay, so we need to maybe call it.
Taxi.
We have
Headphones.
So I tap on the thing and I say, let's see, mark to Vane Command. The mission is complete. We need extraction, please.
Somebody will be on their way. ETA 5 minutes.
Understood.
And that was Meredith.
Right? Huh? And we all hear that, right?
Yes.
I'm gonna activate mine also and ask. I mean, be in a semi-private position. Ask if she wants the friendly to not be in on our operation.
You're gonna have to run that by me again.
Basically, do we not mention this operation to him?
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, no. He can remain in the dark.
Okay. Okay. Then I'll go and wait. Is Sledge giving any interviews, or is he just kind of hanging around?
Right now, he's hanging around, just making sure that Hoplite gets the 2 loaded on board. And there's no problems with their inhibitor collars.
I'd
And
like
I'm keeping an eye on the guys as well.
okay.
Sorry,
I'd
I didn't mean to cut you off again. I keep doing it.
it's fine. We can take turns. I'd like to do a medical assessment on like everybody basically, but I know that Sledge got the brunt of it, so if I could like look him over.
Sure. So go ahead and roll your reason.
How was the guard? Brittany took care of him, right?
He's stable, yeah.
Okay.
74.
Ooh.
Um,
On a what again?
Yeah.
Is that the lumbar chart that you're reading from? I'm in the column, yeah.
62 plus a shift.
Yeah, so you shift up to the next category, which is unearthly. So yes, you make it no problem.
Okay, because 62 on my chart is amazing, but 62 on the other chart.
Oh, sorry, yeah, well, MN 75, even still. There's not much difference between that and unearthly, except for the name.
Okay, well, anyway.
So yes, you like start looking him over, and he's like, Lightbringer, what are you doing?
I'm assessing the damage.
And he's like, you have a power for that? You're not like reading my mind, are you?
No, and not this time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel fine. Assess away, I guess. Aside of like the lumps that I took.
So basically, he doesn't need any care.
Not as far as you can tell. Best way to equate this, even though it was like 2 really superhuman strong people duking it out, would be the equivalent of somebody, just a common person, 2 people commonly having a fist fight.
Okay.
Not that they beat each other with clubs or anything like, but wear and tear wise, that's what it looks like. You've got some puffiness here, and maybe some soreness around where he took some shots, maybe a little bit of burn here and there from that electricity, but that's about the worst of it.
All right, you'll live. Then I'll turn around and look at everybody else.
Okay, and he's like, thanks. I assumed I would, but appreciated.
How's everybody else feeling?
Now we get into some interesting roles. So you've got an android, an alien, and a modified human.
Yeah.
Do I look any different?
No.
Do you just ask us how we're doing first?
I mean, I'm looking at you so I can see whatever I see, but I am also asking.
Oh, just a little banged up. I've dealt with worse.
Yeah, he probably looks worse than everybody there. And it's not terrible, but it does look like he took some lumps.
That guy had either some type of telekinetic power or some type of gravity power, because I felt like Atlas for about 15 seconds.
Ouch.
Interesting.
I am not critically, but I am substantially injured.
Well,
That's something that you should make note of. Given his race, you can't tell that he's actually injured. He's not like leaking blood or he doesn't have like discolorations like wounds or what. He still looks the same color like he did before.
I'm approximately at 60% structural integrity.
Gosh, I'm worse off than that. Okay. Are we done here? Oh, Sledgehammer?
Yeah.
This is we don't really have a name, do we?
No, we don't.
Yeah, so as you guys are kind of muttering around like, yeah, I don't even know what to really call ourselves, we don't have a name, your ship starts coming in. He's like, are you kidding me? You don't even have a name yet and you've got a ship?
This has all happened very suddenly.
You've told me that. Just get out of here. Good grief.
My name is Ixion.
Okay.
I've been
Gotcha.
calling myself Lightbringer.
Well, yeah, that part I knew.
I'm telling the others this one.
Oh, okay. I take it you're
We
doing
should probably
I take it
depart.
you're doing this as you're getting on board.
Well, he's like, I don't even like. You don't even have a name. Like, I am Ixion.
Once he gets back onto the ship, he's gonna let the pearl loose from his gills, and he's gonna put it back around his neck.
Okay.
Once he's out of sight of like public view of it.
Yep, get back on the ship.
They'll call that one.
Okay, so you guys get back on the ship, and it's starting to take you back to the base of operations. And as you come flying back, and the lift brings you back down, Meredith is standing there waiting beside the table, tapping her heel.
We have arrived for our debriefing. The 2 assailants were apprehended.
So she slaps down a manila folder onto the table. Just she does not appear to be happy.
Walk up and open the manila folder. What's inside?
It's actually a listing of the convicts that were on the bus.
Do I recognize any of them by name?
No. She says, you managed to stop the quote-unquote bad guys, but you did not find out what they were there for. And all but one of the convicts got away.
That is a correct assessment.
That's a fail.
Objectives were not given to us previous to the mission.
Yes, we were under the assumption that the clear and present danger were the 2 more powerful villains.
Exit circumstance indicates that you should have done your own assessment, especially once you got on the ground and realized that you had a friendly in play. They don't just attack a prison transport for no reason.
We were not told whether they were part of the transport or whether they had attacked it.
You're not always going to have all of the information.
So I assume this is the next job?
No, this is not the next job at this point. The Strongford Police Department and the Sheriff's Station are now putting out all points bulletins, trying to find the individuals who were involved. We're flying blind on this because we don't know why exactly they were there. We're going to have to hope somebody sweats the information out of those 2.
Are the ones who succeeded in escaping, are they enhanced?
We believe at least one is. But given that was a common prison transport, they were probably kept dormant or hiding it. You're going to have to understand that in most cases you are not going to have all the information that you need going out from the outset. No matter how prepared you think you're going to be or how much you want to be, somebody else has already has one up on you.
That is understandable.
We don't have predictive computers that are going to tell you each circumstance and what it is that they're doing. I wish we had some sort of a chaos factor computer that could do that, but we don't.
That is understandable. However, when faced with the priority without any inclination or precursor of importance of said inmates, there's no way we would have been able to determine whether or not we should have focused more attention on the escaping criminals rather than the two that could have caused the most damage.
Give me your profile, Mark. What exactly is it you can do?
Is this Meredith actually saying
Oh
so?
yeah, this is Meredith.
Okay. I'm an
While they're
android.
talking, he's going to start feeding the names into the computer.
Okay.
I am an android, a meta-organic being. I possess multiple features of quantum technology that allow my body form to resist incredible amounts of stress, a kinetic deflector shield that can, when activated, repel a degree of force. I'm capable of projecting virtual photons, copies of myself at range or close by, that mimic my visage and allow me to communicate and observe through them in real time. I'm also capable of developing technology, enhancing it, repairing it, creating new bits of information and equipment.
And you're able to create duplicates of yourself.
Photonic copies, intangible.
But they see what you see, hear what you hear, and can interact with, correct?
To a degree, correct.
And you directed them all to Disaster Girl.
I did attempt multiple times to actually affect them to follow the inmates. However, due to the situation, I have not been primed for combat. It seems that the combat abilities and tactical skills of this team is lacking. We have had almost no time to prepare. No one here has strategic command experience. There's only one individual who has any military background. Honestly, the executive decision to form the team I find to be currently a failure. The acquisition of these members in this manner does not make any logical sense.
Fair enough. So she throws down another file.
On that,
It's the first one that you you pull up. Oops, hold on a second. Yeah, there we go. I got it. What was that?
While we're having this debriefing, I'm going to be like patching myself up.
Sure.
Because I am in a bad way.
Okay.
Any of those names pop for like criminal activity, like gang-related activity, or?
Well, right now you're feeding that information in. So
Okay.
That's gonna take a little bit because it has to connect to basically databases to pull that from.
Cool. Just asking.
So the first page you pull open, when you pull it open, it's a file on Electrum.
you have information pertaining to Electrum directly. And start reading through it.
And the very first lines, it says aliases. It says Logan McCluskey, William Layton, Todd Summers, and it lists off a name that you can't pronounce.
I look up at her and say,
Which Derek, you end up recognizing as your mother.
You were saying that Dr. McCluskey, my prime creator, was Electrum.
And as you continue to read, one of the other hold on a second. The other name that you see on there was, doggone it, where did I put that at? Here we go. His another name that you see on there is Terrence McCall.
I see his alias is my mother's name.
No, you see. No, you. Sorry, I
That's what I heard.
No. I misstated that. No, it's not your mother's name.
So
but the name it's listed, on there is the one that was your mother commonly referred to it, even though you never knew who he was.
As who?
We don't have a name for it right now, out of character, but it's
Well,
whatever nickname she referred to as your father, because it was always like, oh, your father was blah 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 blah, and it's like, oh well, who is he? And it's
so I'm a little bit different than my family then.
Yes,
At home.
mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Though I take on most of the traits, I'm assuming that I'm more like my mother physically.
No, you were not.
No,
That was one of the weird things about it. Yeah, and in fact, if you look at your background, I think we specified that you were kind of an outcast because you looked different from most everybody.
Okay, yeah, I do recall that. Was that in the chat with in Messenger between
Yep.
you and I? Correct.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I step back. Once I read this, I step back, and this guy is like some supervillain, or this is Electrum.
You weren't here for the first game. Electrum is basically the Superman figure that was the world's premier superhero, and he's missing. And also, this is his base.
So I say, in character, who is this?
This is Electrum. He was the primary guardian of the entire world. He had multiple powers, and most of his information was unknown to the public. The Vein, is his command center, at least one of them. And apparently, my inventor.
And my father.
Is your
Were most
father?
of us brought here because we all have a relation to Electrum?
That makes sense. It's a matter of figuring out what my connection to him is. Clickety, 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 clickety.
So
And I look to,
she just looks at you and she says, "Put two and two together." Still think it's haphazard now?
So we're all children of Electrum, is what you're saying.
at least
Yes.
3 of us, in some manner.
Nobody knows. I haven't admitted anything.
Yeah.
At least metaphorically, we are.
Use the word all.
Interesting. So he is not human. Or is he? I looked through the rest of the file.
Okay. I mean, it's just it's a standard makeup of just like, okay, what could he do and whatnot. But I mean, there's the file also includes notes on like who is tied to who. Like your first note on there, it's Dr. Logan McCluskey, created you, who was him.
Okay.
Is there a section that is in my language?
No, It's all in English.
It's all in English.
Mhm.
Where does it have a section that is referring? Like, I mean, glance through, and do I see that name, my father's name, within there? What do those sections say?
Specifically on your section, it indicates that shortly, or Electrum had gone to that planet in defense of an invasion and saved them, and this was back during like the late 70s.
Roughly 44 years ago.
Yes.
How recently, like when is the last time, how long ago is the last time that I remember seeing him?
Second.
Out of character. Our father gets around.
Indeed.
He's like Zeus.
He's out there getting freaky with the aliens.
Yeah, making a bunch of weird demigod children and stuff.
Now I'm having flashbacks to Invincible.
So I have a question. Does the report actually say he's my literal father?
Yes.
Or the love? It says that he's our literal father.
He is your biological father. And I don't have the specific date for you, Brittany. I'd have to go and look it up.
Well, basically, like,
Okay,
does it
so
coincide
oh, sorry.
with the time frame that he went missing?
Mhm.
Okay, that was
Okay.
basically my thought.
So I look to Carmen. Therefore, you were saying Electrum is your father.
That's my understanding from this evidence here.
And I look to Ixiom. Does this individual have any relation to you?
It would seem that when he, as it reads here, that he came to
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did that.
Zenri, and that is the name of my father.
Freddy. Is it the same for you?
No, if this is accurate, it means my mother slept around on the person she was married to for until she passed.
Then we are all in some form siblings.
Yeah, and I have two other parts of my immediate family who will probably find this information illuminating.
Do your other siblings have?
You're a triplet, aren't you?
Yes, I am. And now he gets up, and I will ask you let me do this kind of a thematic moment. He actually melts some of that electrum that's built into the vein.
Sure. You have to hold it, for a little bit. It's not like a sort of thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, he gets out some of his anger and just you start to see it like melt down the side of the cave.
I actually want to. And this is like because it's silverish gold.
Mhm.
I walk up to it and I touch it. If it burns me, then it burns me. But I'm gonna walk up and I'm gonna touch it.
The part that melted, or just the vein itself?
The vein itself.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Is it something that I can easily absorb as like my? I mean, is there anything different? Because I mean, that's how I would gain my energy or my sustenance, so
No.
to speak, is by absorption. Okay, I just wanted to see.
No,
If
but
there
it
was
does
something.
explain why you look different from the other members of your race, because you were the only one that looked that way.
Does this match my skin tone?
Mhm.
Mark, you said that you can make me a piece of armor with this, right? How much do I need to melt for you to need?
Let me run the numbers. But before that, Ms. McCall, what is your true goal, you and the organization you represent?
Same as I indicated to you. Someone has to step up in his absence.
There are others.
Give me an intuition check, real quick.
Everybody or just him?
Just him.
Sorry.
You're fine.
It's not working here. I'll just roll it.
Uh-oh.
I know. Now, here we go. Oh, not bad this time. 73.
Okay.
Woohoo!
Good dice.
What did you just call her?
Ms. McCall.
Mm-hmm. What was one of the names on the list?
McCall.
Terrence McCall.
Are you related to him as well?
He was my husband.
I see.
Sorry.
Don't be. Just imagine how I felt when I discovered the little black book. So now you know why all of you are here. And now you know why you have to do what it is that you have to do. It is up to you to figure out how to do it.
Find him?
Protect the world. Do you have any intent, Ms. McCall, of finding Electrum?
I've searched. I've come up empty-handed every time. I don't know what's happened to him.
Do you want to know?
I don't have an answer for you.
You did say that you had information regarding his whereabouts, but I take it the information you have is primarily within this manila folder.
Not with his whereabouts. The answers you were looking for.
Understood. That it makes sense that we continue our endeavors. We should redouble and retriple our efforts.
Are there others?
There are. And she's looking more visibly angry at answering that question.
Approximately how many? I do not mean to just this. I understand the way that humans are when they are married, that they are supposed to be monogamous, typically. And with his
dalliances,
that would be very offensive to you. I can see that, and I do not mean to cause you any pain, but forgive me for saying it this way, but this is quite a bit of information to take in under these circumstances when you already have known this.
Is there any sort of pattern?
I come from...
That I don't know.
I come traveling over the speed of light over roughly 1 year, which is millions of miles away. And I find my father. This is
Fortuitous.
I see that there's more hands at play that perhaps put these thoughts in my mind or aligned me out to come here. However, the case, it makes me want to communicate with my mother even more, which I cannot. Do you have the capability of contacting
Oh no, of course
my?
not.
Ixion, we will need to work on repairing your equipment on your ship,
Yes.
as well as repairing and creating technology and equipment for the team. We were drastically outclassed.
The big thing we need is practice.
Agreed.
Which is why you've
Agreed.
been given the vein.
Oh, he'll stop melting the wall, by the way.
Yeah, no, I figured it was just a bit of a burst. It wasn't like a continuance the whole time.
Good this whole time.
Yeah, it is.
Just hand on the wall. Melt, man!
What with your
What about Frank and
with
Frida?
your intelligence, Meredith, are you privy to the location of my ship?
Its current whereabouts, yes, I can find that. It's not something you would like.
What do you mean?
It's in the hands of the United States government.
How can we get it back?
She looks over to Freddy. You previously served in the military. You should know how difficult a request he's asking.
Where is this location? I've studied relative geography.
He'll start laughing because the answer's obvious to him.
51.
It's in a certain place in New Mexico. Out of character.
He'll actually say that. He'll say it's probably in a place called Area 51 if we're gonna go super stereotypical.
Is this Area 51 coincide with your information, Meredith?
It is likely there.
Out of question, was he experimenting on Area 51 or was it somewhere else? Because I imagine it'd be somewhere by the sea, right?
Oh, you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you weren't anywhere near the Area 51.
Okay.
And thank you, Rod Minnis, for the follow. Thank you very much.
Yeah, all right.
Welcome.
So,
Did you try to recruit Frida and Frank too?
Of course not.
Are your siblings enhanced?
They have the same gills that I do.
Was this something that was natural, or that the
Experimentation.
But then it raises a
A
question. It raises a question. Then, why exactly your siblings exhibit powers that your father had?
They never told me about that.
Well, I told you I would provide you with answers. I think as soon as you start unraveling that thread, you're going to understand that the government already knew a bit about who you were.
are you identical triplets?
No. There is Frank and my sister Frida.
Is the government aware of my existence other than the fact that there's a ship and there might be an alien on the planet? Obviously, I know there are others, but do they know that that one belongs to me?
I don't have a full workup of what the government does and does not know. I just know that they do actively discourage the media from probing any sort of alien menace.
Then acquiring your ship may not be possible, at least now. We can work on other technology.
Would publicity be in our favor?
No.
Lightbringer, would you care to shed a light on that particular question?
Well,
I mean, publicity works out so well for you, correct?
I'm what's called a deviant, where my abilities are genetic. I assume now that Electrum was also a deviant.
He was.
You are a product of evolutionary mutations?
Yes. And you must have observed enough of our world to see that these genetic mutations are very much unpopular.
Or unusual, uncommon, yes.
Yeah, that is definitely something you've run across because you've been going along the ecology of humanity. You would have already run across the whole common quote-unquote deviant thing. You don't know specifically like what causes it or whatnot. The big thing you know is that it seems to be handled differently here in the United States than it does in other parts of the world. Like everybody seems to have a very different view and an idea of how it should be dealt with.
Whether it's violence, eradication, or exaltation, or whatever. Some third world country we might be considered gods and worshipped, whereas other countries we'd be hunted.
Possibly. Mm-hmm.
As his biological offspring, I suppose that makes you, in a sense, also deviant. Therefore, that sort of revelation to the media is likely to be met unfavorably.
That's a kind way to put it.
But I could be easily...
Well, you specifically
as alien.
Extraterrestrial.
Yes. Would that not be something that would, though I have not openly sought communication with your species, would that not be something that would be welcomed as insight to other races and locations in the galaxy?
You are aware that you're not the first.
Correct.
And yet the public does not seem to believe. It is not generally known that we've had visitors. In fact, before you arrived, we were researching on the computer here and discovered ourselves that there are certain alien races who have visited Earth that we knew nothing of. And so that idea lends itself to the idea that we have higher powers that would like to keep it under wraps. So if you were to go public, I imagine that we would quickly find ourselves shut down. Perhaps
historically speaking, it seems humanity can be either terrified or hateful of any other sentient beings. They have a very human-centric view of themselves, many believing that humanity is the only sentient race in the entire universe. To then suddenly have proof that there are others elsewhere could damage philosophy. It could damage religion. It could damage humanity's way of life, at least the vast majority. Something else would have to happen, I believe, in order for them to accept beings from another world. They may even hate me, and I was made here on Earth.
Fear is the primary reason why.
At this point, as you guys are discussing, not to interrupt, but Meredith's already walked out.
Its ignorance is amazing.
Does someone want to press the button for me while I work out some stress?
Press the button. Oh.
And he starts walking towards the danger room.
Are you in any condition to be playing with the program?
Only one way to find out.
How can it not be obvious in such a vastness of space that there would be other intelligent?
Would you like to go to the pool instead?
We don't have a pool yet.
Oh, I thought we had water somewhere.
How do I know out of character?
I thought we did. I wasn't sure. I couldn't remember if that detail was put in there. But yeah, the idea was that he wanted to put some in, and I think that if I remember correctly, it came after you guys saw that like massive bathroom.
How do I heal, Jerome?
You simply regenerate like any other sentient would be, you just differently. You eventually regrow you.
Do the rest of us heal at all differently? I mean,
well,
do I heal?
Dale would have to repair himself.
Right.
But I think the biological beings would have some type of healing process to them.
Right. Is there any, like, and I mean, just for instance, like, you or I as human beings, we put a little bit of Neosporin, and that expedites the process a little bit, because it keeps infection out, everything else like that, Is there something that I know of myself that I am able to put some Neosporin on it, so to speak?
Index.
You have not found a compatible liquid of that nature as of yet. So far, your belief is that the chemical compounds may not reside on Earth.
Okay.
Does he know what the chemical compounds are? We can make some.
Good question. Do you have... actually, I don't have to ask, do you have? I can just look. Hold on a second.
Biology.
I don't.
Why don't you give me a reason check? You need a red result.
Ooh, 82. Does that do it?
82 does not.
82 does not?
You are certain that you could analyze yourself if you had the proper tools.
Dang.
And in doing so, that would effectively allow you to
I was close.
Create a compound that would probably act in such a fashion. But given Earth's limited technology compared to yours, like, you're going to have to actually work with them to build think like Ghostbirds, like spectral analysis, like go real high tech. Like you're gonna have to build everything from scratch, prototypes, just to do that. It could absolutely be worth it, but it's one of those things like you're just like, I need to be able to recreate a lab like we had back home. It's not something you can't do. You definitely have you definitely have the smarts to do it. You just don't have any of the tools right now to do so.
So, question: my resources were based on me having my ship.
Mm-hmm.
How do I access my resources?
Another great question that would be answered in character, and we can do so perhaps the next game.
Okay.
Yeah, because at this point we are already 3.5 hours in, minus of course the time that we were down because my computer locked up on me and whatnot. But no, Davy Jones stopped in and he asked about the game, and I told him it was Marvel, and he's like, "Oh, it's the TSR game." Yeah, it is the TSR game. Back when
Nice.
they still owned Dungeons and Dragons and decided on a whim that they were going to make Marvel superheroes. So cool. Thank you all for tuning in and playing today. And real quick, this is the first game of the month. So now that we've actually gotten an encounter under your belt, so I'm going to go ahead and give you all 100 karma for the month. And we can do a roll or make it random thereafter. Now, for the stopping the two... stopping the crooks. Let me get the books pulled up. Uno mas.
Is there different bases, like you said, for karma? You had said specifically helping people. So would
I'm going to go.
It's
over that.
not.
I'm going over that right now.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we need to decide if we want to pool our karma or if we want to use it individually.
Yeah.
So do we want to upgrade ourselves individually, or do we want to upgrade ourselves with an eye for the team? So if one of us was particularly weak in a particular area, then we could all spend spend the pool points to buffer that particular area, and then look at the next thing that we wanted to upgrade.
Mm-hmm. This time when we're spending XP or karma, then we wanted to enhance Lightbringer's psyche, whatever.
Right.
And then we all pull our stuff together, dump it on her, and then next time around we dump some on me or Justin or whatever.
Exactly.
Okay.
Basically, you can keep it all to yourself, and kind of hoard your cash in essence.
Right.
But it's going to take longer to build your own self up, as opposed to having, in essence, a joint bank account that everybody can dip into. And so long as not everybody's spending from it at the same time, you just coordinate with it. Ideally, everybody can slowly start to build up their characters faster than you would individually. Okay, so let's see. So we have defeating 2 incredible foes. That is 80 karma. We have...
Is that 80 karma each?
No, it's what you ultimately you would have to actually split it up per individual. If you're going to go with the pool, then this is ultimately what everybody would get for the pool.
You mean 80 for each of the foes, or for both of the foes?
No, it would be for both the foes, but there's other things that go in here. So you ended up also rescuing somebody. That's an additional 20. However,
it's just like looking at the renown chart for werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of, yeah. This one's a lot smaller though, thankfully.
On you, dishonor on your family.
Dishonor on your cow. So you unfortunately allowed for violent criminals to get out. 9 of them. So let's go.
I refuse to take responsibility. It was the 2 guards that almost died. It's their fault.
That is not how superheroing works, sir. Let's see. So you also stopped you stopped and prevented a destructive crime, and you got an arrest. So that's
We got 2 arrests.
right. So it's 20 there, and I think that's about it. Nothing else happened. Okay. So, everybody gets, because you guys did get the main villains, you're going to want to bump your popularity by 2. This popularity, if you already have an identity that was identified, so in this case, Lightbringer, in this case, Ixion, it went up by 2. If you don't have one or it wasn't known, you still have 2, but just make sure you mark on your sheet unknown. So that way, when it comes out, whatever you decide, you yelled out Ixion. I'm Ixion. So the cameras eventually pick it, like, I don't know what that is, but that's called an Ixion. So
People didn't recognize me from my previous days?
no, you were wearing a mask.
Okay.
So you'll put down 2 for unknown, and as will Dale. That way, when you guys come out with an identity and you're still like looking that way, it goes to that popularity. So in total, this is how this is going to work. And this is how it's going to work every time you get done with an encounter that has karma involved. So you got 80 for the 80 initially. You got 20, 40, 20. Okay, and then minus for the guys that got away.
Escapees.
So so unfortunately, because all the guys but 1 got away, you end up with 25 karma. So you can.
How many are each?
What's that?
How many?
No, that's pooled karma, is what he's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many? What was the stat for letting the inmates go?
Oh, it was a piece. Let me pull that back up. Where was it? Hold on a second. I have to pull the calculator back up. Okay, so
You can just tell me the each.
I can't find it.
Okay.
15 a pop.
The 100, is that for per individual?
Yes.
Or is that pulled as well?
That's monthly. So the 100 that you guys got, everybody got 100. So if you're dropping that in the pool, that's 400 you get to drop into the pool, plus 25. Otherwise, you can divide 25 by 4.
I apologize. I'm holding on to mine for now. I sent you a message on Facebook, Jeremy.
Jerome. Okay.
Jerome, sorry.
That's all right. I'll look at it in a second. Okay. So I'll go ahead and field questions after the game and whatnot if you have any. We'll be playing again on June 26th. Does that sound good for everybody?
So,
On the 26th.
And hopefully we should have George with us by that game.
Who I'm going to go out on a limb and guess he is also a child of Electrum.
Maybe.
That
maybe he definitely is. Come on.
I mean, I could be wrong. Could be wrong.
we are the children of Electrum, all being led by the jaded ex-wife of Electrum.
But with my level of reason, I'm just gonna bank on that.
Yep. She's like, I'm going to bank all my karma on that one.
Let me be well defined on this one. Be like, out of character. Can we call you Mom?
Oh, she'd love that.
Oh, yeah, no. You know they require green cards to be here, right?
As I look exactly shaped like her.
But
I
silvery
love how
gold.
everybody's taking this differently, by the way.
Yep. No, that's great. All right, so I'll go ahead and call it there. We'll see you guys on June 26th. And of course, we have the Vampire game coming up on June 25th, so tune in for that. Until then, take it easy. Davy Jones, thanks for